I'm your host, Mark Haynes. And you know why I'm excited today? Today, I get to see my favorite NBA matchup. Today, I get to see De'Aaron Fox versus Ja Morant. And in this episode of the Bleav in Kings podcast, we're going to talk about who's the better player. Coming up next. Now, anybody that knows me knows I'm a huge Ja Morant fan. If you follow my other podcasts, you'll see that I said that the Memphis Grizzlies would be a top 6 team as long as he's healthy, as long as he's on the court. And so far, they're proving me right. You know, they're sitting at 3. But if you also know me, you know I love me some De'Aaron Fox, and it's been a pleasure covering this dude. And another thing that I've told many of my peers. You know, me and my brother had this conversation. As big of a Ja Morant fan as I am, the better player is De'Aaron Fox. And, you know, yeah, I know some of y'all may be going crazy right now. It's like, oh, this dude, he living in the moment. You know, the 60-point game, 49, job in this, job. Now, I understand. Ja Morant is a bad boy. Like I said, he's one of my favorite players. So it's no slight to him when I say De'Aaron Fox is the better player. But let's talk about it a little bit. And so let's start off with my just perspective. We ain't gonna talk numbers or nothing like that. But I've seen about the De'Aaron and Ja has faced each other 10 times. So we're not gonna talk about who's the better team, blah, 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 even though the Kings won 5 and the Grizzlies won 5. So it's, you know, it's even, it's a wash. So we go just talk about what we see in the numbers. And when I see De'Aaron Fox play against Ja Morant, it takes me back to yesterday at practice where Mike Brown said, you know, I know De'Aaron likes, you know, the trash talking and stuff and how Houston got him fired up. And, you know, he enjoys it. He relishes, he thrives in it. But he's like, he has to get up every day, regardless if it's Utah, regardless if it's somebody that's not talking trash. You have to come with that same intensity. You have to play with that same attitude every single night. And Ja Morant, this is a matchup that De'Aaron gets up for every single time. And when I first started to notice, like, I was like, you know, I know we all love Ja. You know, everybody loves Ja. He's a killer. He is an absolute beast. You know, he's younger. But when we see the highlights, we see the high flying dunks and you know, just he's a beast. I can't say enough about him. But when I see him and De'Aaron go head to head, you get a different type of De'Aaron Fox. You get a De'Aaron Fox that he wants to guard Ja. He's not hiding from the matchup. Not saying that Ja is hiding from anybody because we know like I said, he's a dog. So this is not a slight at either player, even though I'm picking De'Aaron Fox as the better player right now. I'm just saying when I see him play each other, I see De'Aaron take that challenge. It looks like, I don't know if he's actually saying it. I'll probably ask him when I get a chance, but it looks like at some point he was like, "Nah, I want Ja." And when he guards Ja, he's getting up in him. He's making things tough for him. He's making things difficult. You know, he's guarding them. I ain't gonna say 94 feet, but probably at half court. Like, he's really being a two-way player and a two-way dog. And I think head to head, the games that I seen, like I said, I seen about 5 or 6 in person, that is. And to me, if I had to, without even looking at stats, I would have to say De'Aaron won those matchups. You know, I'm sure. Yeah, yeah, you know what? The Kings might have won a few of those games. Like I said, they are 5-5, but when I looked at them head to head, I was like, De'Aaron Fox is winning this matchup. De'Aaron Fox is the better player. You know, he's bigger, he's more experienced, he's, you know, more aggressive on both sides of the ball. Like, you get the total package of De'Aaron Fox whenever he's lined up with Ja Morant. Again, we want to see that De'Aaron Fox every single night because that's the way this Kings team is going to succeed. You have to have that type of De'Aaron Fox. And on the other hand, Ja Morant, you know, he does that for the Grizzlies. Ja Morant, when he's on the court, the Memphis Grizzlies are a very, very good team. And that's why I picked them to be in the top 6 this year. And the Kings, obviously we're a work in progress right now, and they're trying to figure it out. And I think they will ultimately. This is going to be another good test for them, coming back from just beat Houston the other day, and now to go into Memphis and try to get a victory there. It's gonna be tough, but this would be the best two. If they could get a victory tonight, this would be the best 2 wins of the season. Houston was already the best win of the season, but this would be the best consecutive wins of the season. And the Sacramento Kings desperately need to go get this, because right after this, tomorrow, they go back to Victor Wembanyama, and they've had no success against him. But anyway, I'll talk about that either later or on another episode, which will drop really soon. But let's go back to Ja Morant and De'Aaron Fox. So when I'm on Land of Basketball. Shout out to Land of Basketball for the head-to-head matchup infos. Like I said, they played 10 games against each other. Never in the playoffs. They all regular season games. De'Aaron won 5. Ja Morant won 5. Now, the stats, if you look at their career stats, it's very similar. They're very close. I Bleav Ja averaged maybe a point or two, maybe career-wise more than De'Aaron. I think 1 assist, and then De'Aaron is he has more steals by point something. These are 2 very similar players, even though they have really different styles when you think about it. And they're both continuing to get better. They're both adding to their game. They're both, growing in their own way. But head to head, the points leader is by 2 points exactly. De'Aaron Fox, 23.7, and Ja Morant, 21.7. Like I said, it's not a big difference. And when I say, I'll get to my conclusion in a little bit. But 23.7 to 21.7, De'Aaron Fox leading points. When in rebounds, De'Aaron Fox averages 4 rebounds a game to Ja Morant's 3.6. Assists, Ja takes the lead with 6.3 to De'Aaron's 5.4. Steals, 1.8 and 0.5 by De'Aaron Fox, both leads Ja Morant's 0.3 and 0.3. So, stat-wise, De'Aaron Fox it checks out head to head. Like I said, I've seen about 5 or 6 games in person. Head to head validates kind of what I said. And I'm not saying when I say De'Aaron Fox is better than Ja Morant, no, I'm not saying, obviously Ja Morant's no scrub. He's a star. He's a part of the future of this league. He's a franchise player. He's box office wherever he goes. So it's nothing negative I could say about him. But at this moment, at this point in time in both of their careers, De'Aaron Fox have been the better player. Ja Morant, on the other hand, has had way more success. He's a 2-time All-Star, opposed to De'Aaron only being a 1-time All-Star. Ja Morant has been in the playoffs. He's played in big playoff games. De'Aaron has, got the Sacramento Kings there once, which was, an amazing feat because the Kings hadn't been in the playoffs in, nearly 2 decades or whatever. So that was a huge thing. And they're looking to get things on track this year to return. We'll talk about that as well a little bit later or in another episode. We'll see, because this game is about to pop. This is about to happen soon. It starts off 5:00. And only got a little bit of time. I got to jump to this esports tournament that my son is, see if we go take home the victory. Then I come, watch the game or whatever. Maybe do something again tonight. But these are 2 very similar players. I know I'm rambling and going on, but I think De'Aaron Fox has the edge, and I think it's clear. I think from just from an eyes view, he looks better. He looks like the guy that's, Ja ain't backing down, but De'Aaron looks like he's taking on. He he's willingly taking on the challenge on both ends of the floor. We will see what happened in tonight's game. Like I said, the Memphis Grizzlies are doing well. The Memphis Grizzlies are healthy right now. I can't remember the injury report, but they're relatively healthy. This is a very good team. The Sacramento Kings are a very talented team that has the potential to be a really good team. And they have to figure it out quickly. And I think it all started last game against Houston when inserting Malik Monk into the starting lineup. I think that was a really big deal. I think that was a great move by Mike Brown. It took him what, this year 3 of having Malik. It took him 3 years to get him here, but now that he's here or whatever, I think it's a great move. You add another playmaker onto the court. Now the Kings, their starting five is very similar to the Oklahoma City Thunder's starting five. The Oklahoma City Thunder starting five, we would say, SGA is the point guard, right? I mean, sure, but Jalen Williams handles the ball. You could bring in Kassan Wallace, he handles the ball. When Chet's healthy, he brings the ball up. You got 4 to 5 different guys at all times who can, basically be the lead facilitator. And now the Sacramento Kings semi have that. They have guys that can bring the ball up the court. You could just get it and go, which would help the pace of the game. And I know that Mike Brown wants them guys playing fast. And adding Malik into this starting lineup, it helps that. Whoever gets the rebound could just take it and go, all the way from 1 through 5. Now, the bench is still in question. They had a very short bench against that Houston Rockets team. They only played 3 guys. Jay Crowder, Kevin Herter, and why am I drawing a blank? He played the most minutes out of all of them. Isaac Jones, excuse me, my bad, Isaac Jones, who had an amazing game. He was 5 for 5. I think he had 10 or 12 points, something like that. I think he made some free throws. I can count. I know what 5 for 5 is, but yeah, he had 10 to 12 points or whatever. But he was just he was a real spark off of the bench. But there's still questions with the bench. There's questions with consistency. There's questions with why didn't Keon Ellis play? And it's hard to, although you got the victory, so it's kind of weird to question the victory. But the one thing we do know, like, I believe the starters can sustain what they did. I think Malik's not gonna average 12 assists a game or whatever, but I think all of the guys can basically duplicate the type of night they had against Memphis, and that's what we're talking about. I think they can duplicate that, but the question is, what type of bench are we gonna get? Isaac Jones, I wouldn't bet on him going 5 for 5, even though, like, his everything was high percentage. So if he gets those same looks at the basket, sure, he could go 10 for 10 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're in the paint baskets, they're, putbacks and things like that. But the question is, are we going to get the same shooting night from Kevin Herter? Is Jay Crowder going to come in for 12 minutes and not score, but make an impact immediately? Because this Memphis team is big. They're physical. They are playoff built. So this is going to be a really good test for the Sacramento Kings. But is Keon Ellis going to get another DNP? I don't think so. I don't think, some was like, is Keon Ellis in the doghouse? I don't think he's in the doghouse. I think Kevin Herter got off to such a good start, and Malik, played well the entire game. I think he kind of just got lost in the sauce. I could be wrong. If he doesn't play tonight, then I guess we have another question. But still, what type of production we get from the bench? And if the bench can produce, along with, let me bounce back to the starters, along with Keegan Murray having another solid performance. If the bench can produce and Keegan Murray has another solid performance like he did against Houston, I think the Sacramento Kings have a really good chance at lighting this beam tonight. And I'm not saying that as a fan. It's just, I think they're the more desperate team, and I think they know that. I think they're of course they're the most desperate team or whatever. And I don't know how Memphis is coming into this game as far as, you know, and it's an 82 game season. You're not going to win every game, so don't kill yourself over trying to win every victory. So if they got that mindset, and then on the other hand, the Sacramento Kings come in there like we have to win this game, I think that gives them a little edge. But it's going to take a really well coached game from Mike Brown, finding the guys that got it going, finding the guys that can be productive for 48 minutes and 4 quarters. Hopefully this doesn't go overtime, because the Sacramento Kings have to get this done in regulation, because like I said, tomorrow they turn around. Well, tonight they go jump on a flight to San Antonio, and you got to deal with Victor Wembanyama. I did it again, man. If y'all, like I said, if y'all watch my other podcast, y'all see I got a habit. I will always want to say Victor Wembanyama, and I know it's Victor Wembanyama, but maybe that's why they just say Wemby. But they got to go down there. They got to face Wemby, which they've had no success against this season. And last time they played the San Antonio Spurs, it was just a pure. It was just straight up dominance by Wemby. Triple double, 3 blocks. It was a 30-point triple double at that. So let me clarify that, because 10, 10, and 10 is not the same as 30, 10, and 10. And it felt like it too. You felt it. It seemed like, although the Kings, that was the first night that Malik got the first start of his Sacramento Kings career. The Kings played well, but they had no answer for Victor Wembanyama. Got it. You see that? Got it. Victor Wembanyama. Ha! And will they have one this time? What has changed? Not much. Just keep it real. Not much has changed, but I think if they could get a win tonight against Memphis and get it done in regulation, and maybe even it's gonna be hard to go blow those guys out. But if you could keep the starters' minutes down, I like a fresh Sacramento Kings team in a back-to-back. This sounds crazy. I'm over here talking reckless right now. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'm a genius. We'll find out. But I like their chances. If they could get a win tonight, I like their chances of being motivated to get 3 in a row. And then come back home on Sunday against Utah. I believe it's Utah. Where did I put? I lost my phone. But come back Sunday, win another one. That's a 4-game winning streak right there. And that would put them above 500 and right back in the playoff running. And that's where the Sacramento Kings need to be. And right now, where I need to be is at this at this esports game. So I'm gonna have to get out of here. And this is Mark Haynes. This is the Bleav in Kings podcast. Till next time, I'm out.